Hello and welcome. This is Codex.games, your ultimate source for Torchlight Infinite builds. Today, we're excited to present another episode of our build series, Double Thrusts Oracle Thea. Without further ado, let's get started.
I'm sure you realize that I will be back.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at Thea's kit and the attributes in her base trait that are most important and impactful for this build. With Wisdom of the Gods, we get the ability to passively receive Divine Blessing every 2 seconds. And with our hero skill, the Divine Punishment, we gain a lot of buff based on the number of Divine Blessings we consume. However, for this build, we'll concentrate on the plus 200% all damage buff for every stack of blessings Divine Punishment consumes. This buff is indicated by this icon when Divine Punishment is cast. We will prioritize maximizing this buff and making sure we have 25 stacks to obtain the 200% all damage buff. Let's move on to our hero traits. Here are the hero traits to pick. Finale Prophecy, for up to 25% additional damage. Predicted Harvest, for an additional chance to gain focus blessings and twice the chance to deal double damage. Predicted Reincarnation, automatically cast Divine Punishment. Focus Blessing Regain, and plus 4% additional damage per stack of focus blessing gained. Predicted Sacrifice, more focus blessing regain and plus 40% additional bonus damage. Farewell Prophecy, for our attacks to have a chance to deal quadruple damage. That concludes our hero traits. Let us now move on to our stats chapter to discuss how this build will be put together. In this chapter, we'll put together the priority stats we'll need to tie up nicely with this build. In a nutshell, this build is a low life erosion damage build. And because this is a low life build, we start with very little HP. Furthermore, one of our core pieces of equipment is the lightless vestment of Whispers, which will inflict 4000 erosion damage when our focus blessings reach max stacks. This is why, more than anything, we will need to put up a lot of survivability stats. Let's begin. Here are some noteworthy stats to consider. For damage stats: erosion damage, erosion resistance penetration, physical and elemental damage, physical to erosion, and elemental to erosion, shadow quantity and shadow damage, attack and cast speed. For survivability stats: flat max life, flat life regeneration per second, minus additional damage taken, and injury buffer. Stacking these survivability stats should not only mitigate the lightless vestment erosion damage penalty, but also make our build much tankier overall. Damage multipliers: critical strike rating and critical strike damage. And of course, maximum focus blessing and chance to gain focus blessings. That concludes our list. In the following chapters, we'll begin building our talent trees and gears. So, obtaining these stats will be our top priority. Choosing a talent tree can make or break a build. Talent nodes provide distinct boosts to a character's base stats, increasing our potential for damage. For this build, we'll use Goddess of Darkness, Warlock, and Druid. Let's pick the nodes for Goddess of Darkness. The major talents should be Mixture, for 50% of our physical and elemental damage to be converted into erosion damage, and a nice bonus of 100% chance to paralyze on hit. Poisoned Relief, for plus 25% injury buffer, and minus 15% additional damage taken at low life. I chose the following minor talents. Let's pick the nodes for Warlock. The major talent should be Merciless, for bonuses to attack speed and cast speed to also apply to cooldown recovery speed. Off the Beaten Track, support skills increase by 3 levels, and mana multipliers are set to 105%. I chose the following minor talents. Let's pick the nodes for Druid. The major talent should be Calm, for a staggering minus 50% additional damage taken at low life. Nowhere to be found, plus 2 max agility stacks, and clearing negative effects and DOT damage when gaining agility blessings. I chose the following minor talents. This brings us to the end of the talent trees. See you in the skills chapter. It's high time we set up our skills. I'll list our active skills as well as the supporting skills that go with them. In addition, I'll include the important reasons for using each support skill below each skill icon. Let's get started with our main skill. Double Thrust. A shadow strike melee attack skill that creates shadows when you're attacking. For support skills, put in Shadow Will, Shadow Mask, Silhouette, Haunt, and critical strike damage increase. For mobility, let's set up Spiral Strike. Let's support that with Hardened and Periodic Burst. Next, let's also set up Bloodthirst. For support skills, Mass Effect, Mania, and Bloodbath. Next, let's also set up Bull's Rage. For support skills, put in Death Will, Mania, and Mass Effect. For our last active skill, we'll get Charging Warcry. For support skills, take Powerful Warcry, Increase Area, and Extended Duration. Moving on to our passive skills. For our first passive skill, let's get Precise Erosion Enhancement, Precise Fearless, Precise Rejuvenation. Let's support that with Selfishness. Our second passive would be Precise Death Pact. Let's support that with Seal Conversion, Fixate, and Secret Origin Unleash. For our last passive skill, it will be Precise Auto Defense. For support, Frost Shield, Delayed Pain, Protection Field, Summon Thunder Spirit, and Seal Conversion. Let's see how everything comes together now that we have all our skills in place. Our skill combo begins with Spiral Strike to trigger Hardened. Then we cast Charging Warcry, Bull's Rage and Bloodthirst, and finally Double Thrusts. This concludes our skills chapter. See you in the next one. Our guides have always focused on understanding the fundamental mechanics of the character, and capitalizing on them to maximize our damage potential. We did this on purpose because we knew the stats of our equipment would differ. While we prefer that you use the equipment we recommend as much as possible, you are welcome to experiment with alternatives, as long as you keep to our priority stats. We'll go about it like this. In the column on the left, I'll recommend the equipment that is currently the best in slot for this build. In the first column on the right, I'll put in an alternative equipment that would be just as good. And in the rightmost column, I will add an early game option that you can get once you've unlocked the trade house. The corroded stats will be in dark purple, just like in-game. The orange markers will represent non-negotiable core stats that we must get. And grey stats, these are optional stats where we can put in anything that we lack. Now that we have that settled, let's get started. Here is my recommendation for helmet. For armor, let's get our necklace should be and for our gloves. And the belt that I advise you to get is here is my top boots recommendation. My recommended main weapon choice. And the offhand equipment is our main ring. And our offhand ring. For our hero relic and hero memory, I would suggest moving on to pacts. That brings us to the end of our equipment section. See you in the next chapter. Congratulations! This is the final chapter of the guide. That was a lot of information to take in, so feel free to go back and review the chapters if necessary. While this is a very good and enjoyable build to play, it does have some drawbacks. There is so much more that this build can improve on, and we are certain that we have missed some things that would actually improve this build even more. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment below so that we can include your ideas into our future guides. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. We would also appreciate it if you would support us by liking this video and subscribing to us. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Catch you on the next video.